Live. Okay.
Oh, I like the little animation on your cover photo. So cute. Like asking people to stay safe or wear masks.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Property Queen TV Live with me, Gwen. And today we have the creative director of Elite Network. So right here is Dominic Fu. So if you guys want to know more about creative branding, adapting, and going through the new norm, remember to share this out, share with your friends, as I know everyone is still coping with the new norm, and there are different kinds of new norms that we're talking about. The new norms of having SOPs to put on our masks, to sanitize, and when we go everywhere, we have to practice social distancing. That's one of the new norms. And also another new norm would be the digital platforms, like some people will learn to use Zoom or StreamYard, for instance, during MCO to do meetings, to connect with people. So I feel that this new norm is going to be the norm of our life, starting from now on. So just stick with us, share this out, bring your friends in, and we want to speak to all of you about creative branding, adapting, and moving forward with the new norm. So share this out. Thank you. Now, don't worry, guys. We'll start at 2 p.m. sharp. So just stick with us. Feel free to drop your comments in the comment box, and remember to follow Property Queen's Facebook. Hi. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. cannot hear you. Hello. Hi guys, remember to share this out with your friends. So today we'll be talking to the creative director of Elite Network. We'll be talking about creative branding, adapting, and moving forward with the new norm. And of course, you can tell us what this new norm means to you, or how are you adapting.
Hi.
Finally. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Gwen, thanks for having me again. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. So for you all who don't know, Dominic and I, we have been friends for a long time. So today, it's really happy to see a good friend, on the opposite side, and connecting through this platform. So cute.
Of the opposite side of the opposite sex. Today it's both. Yeah.
On the opposite
It's both
side.
business and pleasure. It's both business and pleasure. Right? But it's so good to catch up again, Gwen. I haven't seen you since since last year, and I know that you're doing well
Forever.
at Property Queen. Yeah, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And of course, today,
I'm happy for you as well. You know, creative director, you're doing so much of great stuff for everyone in Penang. For those who don't know, Elite Network is actually a brand in Penang, a business in Penang. So if you guys need some creative branding ideas, or you know, speak to someone who's good in creative branding, you guys can speak to Dominic. He is really good in what he does, and you know, we're gonna talk about the career that he's in, and how we can help you to adapt to this new norm, and you know, what is creative branding actually all about.
yes, thank you so much. Okay, when it comes to branding, I'm quite confident, but it comes to haircut, oh my God, I need help. I need help. Do you have anyone that you can recommend me? I have not cut my hair for months. No,
I think
no,
yeah, I think that's the question that everyone wants to know. Like, anyone wants to cut my
I,
hair, anyone wants to come to my place to cut my
I
hair.
exactly. I desperately need help, and it's not something that is worth taking risk of cutting your own hair, because there's only one trial, and if you fail, if you missed, by bit and all that, you will have to live with it until it grows back. So it's not something that I want to risk. So yeah, any recommendations, like home cut, customized haircut, barber and all that, please recommend. Yeah.
Yes, everybody, please comment in the comment box and let Dominic know which barber to go to, or which, you know, hairstylist to go to in Penang.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Can let
desperately
him
needs.
know.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I think we can start already. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yep, always ready.
Losing you. Are you still here?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, can. So we're gonna start. Yes. So we can start today's session, guys. So here with me today is the creative director Dominic Fu of Elite Network, ladies and gentlemen. And Elite Network is a company that focus on creative branding, and they can link you with anything you want. So if you have any question at all, can ask Dominic. And he's also an entrepreneur. He's a model. He's a mentor. And you know, if you need any help or you need someone to speak to, you can always speak to Dominic. Hi, Dominic. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today for this live session.
Thanks, Gwen. Thank you, Property Queen, for having me. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna jump right into the first question today, okay? Okay, so we want to know, because now there is this thing called new norm right after MCO. Even with CMCO, we are still practicing this norm. So what is this new norm for you?
Okay, a very obvious one. We have like general new norms that we comply with, and we also have a specific new norm that Elite Network, has finally adapted to. The general new norm that I observe would definitely has to be social distancing. Of course, everyone is trying to stay safe, like keeping a distance away from another. So one way or another, I think it affects quite a lot of businesses. And also from my observations on social media, online, is we see a lot of business has moved onto delivery, using the online delivery system. And particularly if you're talking about in Penang, right, that would be F&B. So, and with that kind of new channel of delivery being set up, right, we see a lot of very small scale businesses, or even like home-based businesses of freelancers. Like with this MCO, it's we call it the Master Chef online. A lot of Master Chef trying
Right.
to flaunt their cooking skills, and they turn it into a business. It's actually good. Like the first 2 weeks, you see that people just strictly doing it for the sake of it and for the fun of it, posting it on social media, showing off their cooking skills. And later on, you see that there are pages and pages coming up and promoting them, and turning all of this into businesses. So I see this as the new trend, as the new norm. That is the general. And particularly for Elite Network, is basically moving all our events, not all I would say, but most of our events online, because we do creative branding. So our branding strategies involve both online as well as offline. Previously we did a lot of launching events for products, for companies, annual dinners and all of that. But now since we literally try to just re-strategize, remarket, as well as to bring all this event online, and we call it like the virtual event. And in fact, the reason that we have just completed, it was last Saturday. Actually, it was our social responsibility, our creative Mother's Day makeover campaign, which really happy because it went well. It went well. Like it was a great success in terms of the execution, because the execution was pretty much something that I've always been worried about if we want to, or if we try to move events online. But based on the response last week, I felt that yes, this is something that is workable. So in the future, this is something that we're going to do as well. Of course, from the marketing side, there's still a lot for us to learn. But in terms of the engagement, in terms of the execution, I felt it was close to flawless, and that is something that made me really happy.
Okay. Do you think that in a business term, do you think that this new norm will be able to help businesses, and will this new norm be the future of businesses in Malaysia, being an entrepreneur yourself?
Definitely. I mean, I cannot disagree to that. Like a lot of facts, a lot of market survey, through a lot of experimentations and a lot of observations, it's quite clear that this will be, something that a lot of people will gravitate towards. And I have to say, Gwen, I believe that the pandemic basically it's just like, it serves as a means to catapult, to propel us towards this new norm, faster, in a way that is faster. But even with or without this pandemic, sooner or later, I feel that all of us would have to gravitate towards this new norm.
Right.
It's just a matter of time. Yeah, I feel that online is basically the future. But there's one thing I also want to highlight. It's it would not be practical if you basically move everything 100% online, because not a lot of businesses are able to be conducted or carried out online. We got to talk about practicality as well. So I still believe it has to have a balance, in between online versus offline integration. That is what I believe in.
Okay, so we see that more and more businesses are moving over to digital side. How do you think it is different from then and now?
You mean digital platform then versus digital platform now? I don't quite. Yeah.
I would say like more and more businesses are moving towards the digital platforms. What do you think if the difference between the digital platform and the conventional marketing and advertising, old school marketing and digital marketing?
Online marketing, digital marketing versus the traditional marketing, right? Like, okay, I would say it's inbound versus outbound. So I see a clear difference, because for us, we focus a lot on inbound marketing as well as digital marketing. That is what we do. Even we talk about using your email marketing, using your Facebook, anything that is technology related, I call it digital marketing. And as opposed to the more traditional kind, because I feel that right now people are on social media almost all the time. And that has basically replaced a lot of the traditional platforms like the press, even magazines. Like even for press, newspaper, and magazine, they have set up a lot of digital platforms as well. They understand that that is the new trend. And that's something that the traffic is moving towards. So if you are still trying to insist the traditional way of doing things, I really don't think you can survive in the new business trend or business sea, or like this new industry that we're all getting into.
Okay, so we talk about creative branding in terms of people branding, business branding. So can you just give us a breakdown, elaborate what is creative branding?
Yep, sure. I'm more than happy to do that, because that is basically what we do. So first of all, people need to understand the importance of branding, because a lot of people, they straight away jump into sales. Like, okay, I need sales. Even like in this MCO, I think a lot of people focus on, what's my sales? Because I mean, that I can understand. It is understandable in the sense that sales, eventually, it is what's going to sustain the company. But you've got to look at your business in the long haul. Like, how do you want your company, how do you want yourself to be perceived by everyone? So that is where branding comes in. And for branding, I always break it down to, I call it the brand triad, which is your company branding, okay, which involves your company culture, as well as your product branding, which involves the value of your product, how much values it is being perceived by the audience, or perceived by your prospects, by your end users or your customers. And the last one, definitely, I think it's also a game changer, which is the personal branding. Because when in the last few questions we mentioned, right, basically a lot of people, they are beginning to move their businesses online.
Yep.
So like very soon you will see like a huge flock, like this huge flock of entrepreneurs or even businesses. They will all be concentrated online. So at that time, you know, all of these businesses and all of these platforms, it will become a commodity. So how
Yeah.
do you make yourself stand out? That is really when
Mm.
brand, Gwen. I think this is what a lot of people fail to
Okay.
recognize knowledge. But I think entrepreneurs, businesses, or even executives, companies
Right.
at all levels should really look at this um, at a very at a greater depth. That is what I believe. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you want to break it down, it's personal branding, which involves the executive or the boss themselves, and
Mm.
product branding, which involves the branding of your product structure. How are you going to market it? How are you going to position it? And how
Mm.
is it going to create a brand values as well as a brand promise towards your client, your audience, your prospect,
Mm.
and as well as your organizational branding,
Yep.
your company
Yep.
branding, which involves your team, people that are working for you. Are
Yeah.
they sufficient or are they knowledgeable enough to represent your company, to represent you as well as your company's product? And
Yes.
for us, we implement a creative tool as well as creative technique into bringing all this onto the surface and to
Mm.
create a brand that is unique, a brand that is outstanding. Of course, everyone is always looking for great things and good things and great quality and all that, right? But is your
Mm.
brand outstanding enough to make you stand out from all your competitors? That is the key
Okay.
question.
Right. So we have a question from Rahman. He asked, "How
Hi, Ram.
can creative industry survive during this pandemic?"
Okay. Continue to be creative. Okay, you need to leverage a lot on social media. Okay, because what we do is basically we focus a lot on content creation. So in this time of pandemic, right, you've got to understand what do people need, what are their pain points, what are their problems. So as a creative industry or as a creative director, right, what you need to do is to leverage on content creation. Use content as a means of educating and inspiring people. So that will leave a
Mm.
mark. That will leave
Mm.
a great impression. And that is how you're going to leverage on this content creation to build a brand that is
Mm.
sustainable as well as that is outstanding. Outstanding first, of course, and then sustainable because we're not sure how long this pandemic will last. Understand or not?
Right.
So
Right.
even like after the pandemic, you want people to remember that during these hard times, your brand is the ultimate brand that people can look up to. Your brand was the ultimate brand that helps to educate the public, that helps to inspire the public even in tough times like this.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for answering that question. So we want to know, like, I think there are different new norms here that we have. The normal norm, the general norm that you mentioned is SOP of sanitizing yourself, having a face mask, learning about social distancing. But there's another new norm that we are adapting now. And I think for some it's not a new norm, but for some of us it is, for moving everything to the digital platform. So we want to know, how did you turn your creative branding to something so advanced on the digital platform? Like you've mentioned, you created a campaign for Mother's Day. You held it online, and I also saw that you also doing some live sessions with your clients online as well. So how did you move something so creative to the digital platforms?
Okay, Grant, we have always been leveraging on digital as well as technology. So
Mm.
for us, it's really understanding what are some of the most advanced technologies or advanced tools in the market that we can use. You
Right.
know, yep, and it's also very important for us to be leveraging as well as using smart softwares, applications, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and
Mm.
implementing all of those into our content creations, like I said, and to
Mm,
bring
mm,
true
mm,
values, not just for ourselves, our channels, but even for our
mm.
clients as well. Because our clients, their products, you know, their pages, their websites, and their materials, their marketing materials need to stand out among their competitors as well. So
Mm,
how do
mm.
we, as a creative industry, as a creative branding agency, how can we help them, you know, to elevate their brand values as well as their brand image, so that they can from their competitors. This is something very important that we always have to take into account, is to really understand what are the new technologies that we can leverage on, what are some of the most user-friendly but very high-tech, advanced technological tools that we can use into our content creations.
Okay, so I guess for Elite, everyone has been adapting well to this new change. But do you have any advice for people who are slowly switching to the digital platform, like how you guys adapted in the start? How you guys adapt, and to help these people to adapt to this new digital norm?
I have to be honest with you, Gwen. I say that we're adapting quite well. So basically, we work from home, and I can see a great boost in terms of productivity as well as efficiency. That is for sure. Because previously there was just a lot of traveling, meeting clients and all of that. But why didn't we think of using platforms like Zoom, and all these StreamYards and all of that to carry out our meeting? It is just so convenient. And you can actually put more time into brainstorming. You can put more time into conceptualizing. So for me personally, I do see a boost, like I said, in creativity. That is for sure. So if you ask me how are we adapting, we would say it is a great. This is an opportunity that I would like to thank this pandemic for its outbreak, because it literally pushes everyone to tap into their creative side. Make sense? And because with these online platforms like Zoom, StreamYards, and all of this, right? Do you know how much time we actually saved, and how we can better use all this time, utilize on all this time to bring for brainstorming as well as conceptualizing? That is my point. Yeah, but of course it's a two-edged sword. Understand it? Like, I believe a lot of companies and organizations, their employees also work from home, so you can either use this as an opportunity for you to, use all this saved time that you have to do more researching, surveying, re-strategizing, or just rechanneling the trajectory of your company. Or you could use it to watch Netflix, or you could use it for other means, like, understand, like to live a more chilled life, understand? So it's a two-edged sword. I believe that your decisions ultimately will affect the brand of your company. That is for sure. But I can share with you this one story. It is one of my clients as well. It is a property client in Penang. So I've been working really closely for this. They are called the Grace Residence. It is based in Jelutong. So the CEO, right, or the founder of the company, right, basically she is very, she focuses a lot on traditional marketing. Just now we talked a little bit about traditional marketing versus digital marketing, right? Yeah. So it was basically a great challenge for us to try to inspire her, to try to influence her into using and leveraging more on the digital marketing, because she believes so much in the traditional marketing, because that has worked for her. Make sense? But few years down the road, we know that everything has to go online, or maybe like there has a huge portion of your marketing effort has to be shifted online. And with that, we managed to persuade her, we managed to inspire her, and a lot of the campaigns and a lot of the marketing materials that we did for her, they were boosted online. So that was basically a great start.
Okay, so safe to say digital marketing, it's a new trend for everyone to really go into, because it won't be a new trend anymore after this.
It won't be. Very soon it won't be. So I think it's more important for us to really take the lead now, rather than later on when he has become so concentrated in the market, then it doesn't make you special anymore. So it's better to be the leader in your industry. So that really has a lot of things that you need to implement in. We talk about the creative technologies, the creative conceptualizations and implementations, all of that. You need to be ahead of the pack. You need to be ahead of time, and you also need to be ahead of your competition.
You're right. Okay. So we have another question from Fadila Sufyan. So she asks, do you think this new norm is the best time for freelancers? And do you think freelancers will be able to generate more during this time? What is your opinion?
Okay. Depending what industry you are in, like I said, if you are tapping into the Red Sea, the red ocean meaning that it's something that a lot of people are doing already. For example, F&B, then I would say it is. I cannot promise you whether it will be profitable or not. It's something that you have to experiment. Again, it really depends on your personal branding. It depends on the value of your product, your personal brand, which is your brand identity, and the value of your products, as well as if you're a freelancer, of course, you don't have a company and all of that. But what culture are you adapting or are you implementing into your brand? To me, that is very important. Yep. Of course, I believe whether, regardless of the period, the time that we're in, I believe if you use creativity as a tool, if you use creativity as a skills to running or managing your business, I believe you will always make something great out of it.
Okay, beautifully said. So, do you think that the new norm is changing our lifestyles, and how can we adapt to it?
Oh, definitely changing our lifestyles, like working from home and staying at home, all this social distancing. To me, I believe it's just another way for us to get used to. We need to adapt. We need to adapt. Like from my clients, where I mentioned like Grace Residence, where I work closely with the founder, right? Now, I mean, previously we used to meet a lot. There's just a lot of brainstorming, meetings, and discussions that we have to do face to face. But now everything has to be done online. But when talking about that, right, one of the main thing that I really want to highlight is, as a branding agency, we also do like events previously, right? So now everything has to be online. So we call it the virtual events. So one of my main concerns has always been, because I believe that online is good, and in the sense that it multiplies your return of investment. But there's just a lot of perks that we can benefit from, with online marketing and online businesses. But as compared to offline, I feel that offline platforms and offline methods, right, it will help to build trust as well as credibility in ways that online platforms cannot. This is what I believe. So my advice for people who are watching right now, right, if you're planning to transition to online, that's good. But like I said, offline is also important, in a sense, something that we have to take into account, because offline is where you can truly build a great, deep level of trust as well as credibility. That is something that online, it cannot be done online, at least not at the moment. But we were just quite happy that last week, the Creative Mother's Day campaign that we did, we managed to build like a very quality level of trust and connections and intimacy and engagement with our participants, like our community. So it was great. And that was something that we did for Penang Down Syndrome Association.
Okay. So we have a question from Samuel Chin. He asks, what kind concept or new advertisement way will going to replace if after digital marketing is out of trend?
You mean like complete replacement?
I think he's asking what kind of a concept or new advertising way that will replace if after digital marketing is out of trend.
Sorry, come again, the question? What kind
of concept or new advertising way will replace after digital marketing is out of trend?
Out of trend.
Yeah.
That is something that we really need to closely anticipate, because I believe that digital marketing, it will stay on, as a trend, I believe, for at least for the next decade. But we're not sure, like our society changes so fast and it's ever evolving. Makes sense. Who knows, one day we may move back to offline. We're not sure, because like I said, right? Because like I said, there is always a shift. Understand or not? And with this, right? To the person who's asking, what's his name?
Samus.
Oh, Samus. Like, hi, nice to meet you, Samus. I believe, right, all this shift and all that, it's based on the supply as well as the demand. Because right now, the demand in digital marketing and digital platform is high. So the supply has to be able to adjust itself to meet the demand as well. Understand or not? But at one point, when everybody understands this is a trend, and as everybody move onto this trend, right?
Yeah.
I'm anticipating, this is something that I anticipate, offline or traditional marketing may have its fair share again. Because like I said, offline or traditional marketing, in a way, it's also good in a sense of building trustworthiness as well as credibility. So this is something that we cannot foresee at the moment. But I would say for now, digital platforms and digital marketing, it's something that's going to stay on for at least a while, for the next 10 years, I believe.
All right.
And
Thank
it's
you.
still growing. It is still
Yeah,
growing. It has
yeah.
not hit its plateau yet.
We
So
see that everyone is using digital marketing right now, especially during the whole MCO. So we can see it's escalating really quickly. So
yeah.
we hope that we can see more progression for digital marketing. And then there's another question from Fadila
Sorry.
Sufyan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Samuels, right? So
Samus. Yeah.
My one more advice for Samuels is don't let go completely of the traditional way of doing things, because we need to have a balance. Understand? To me, it's about balance. You need to control the proportion. But I
Mm,
believe that don't completely let go as yet, because we have not fully, if you have not fully mastered, fully mastered the technique as well as
mm.
the wisdom and knowledge of digital marketing, I
Yep.
say don't completely go online first. Yep. Have a
Okay.
balance, have a mix. Yep.
Thank you. So we have one more question from Fadila Sufyan. She asks, for property field, Malaysia is still new with the digital and virtual tour. Do you think we will be able to catch up like those international countries? And do you think that virtual tour will be able to seal the deal?
Okay. First of all, the first I foresee that. I mean, I can see that there are two questions here, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I think by the time we catch up to those who are on an international level in terms of the technologies, the software, and everything that they use, they have
Mm.
moved on to another level. I always believe, like, no, I have to be honest, because
Yeah.
unless we're wise, or unless like we're really, really fast learners, otherwise we will always be like one step or two step behind from it. But that's
Yeah.
okay. It
Yeah.
really depending on what market that you are tapping in,
Mm,
into.
mm, mm.
And if you are going for international market, then I have to say you have to learn really fast, and you have to be as fast as those competitors who are on an international level.
Mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm.
that is answering the first question. And my second question is to seal the deal. Yes, I believe so. I believe virtual tools like all those VR cameras, VR goggles, I think when 5G is introduced in Malaysia, right, I
Mm,
think it
mm,
would allow things to go even more smoother. Because I think a lot of the new technologies, right, especially imported from overseas, from China and all that, right,
mm,
it is designed for those countries who already have a very strong built-in systems of 5G. We don't
mm,
have that yet. That is something that we're lacking, the network. So the network is something that we are expecting to be implemented into the virtual technologies to try to make this whole process more seamless, to try to
right.
make the whole virtual tour on events. Even for events, yes, that is something that we're looking into right now, for all these property tours and all that, to make it more seamless. Otherwise, we have always been known for our great communications, our great PR skills into
Yeah.
sealing the deal. Understand?
Right.
So
Right.
this leveraging and using these virtual tools and technologies is another
Mm.
whole ball game. It requires a different sets of skills, a different sets of technology. So I wish you all the best in exploring in this. But yes, you really need to learn fast and to work hard in terms of getting yourself adapted to all this new technology. Because with
Mm.
these new technologies, there's going to be a new wave of technologies coming in. So
Mm.
it's a constant learning process.
Okay. So do you think a business can succeed by being persistent with their norms and not adapting?
No. Okay, like I said, it's a balance, Gwen.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be a balance.
Mm.
I believe you need to read the news, and you need to understand your trend. You need to know where the trend is heading. You need to know where the traffic is flowing. Okay. And you need to do a little bit of readjustment in terms of your strategies, in terms of some of the components of your business model. But I would
Mm.
say the ultimate visions, the ultimate goal that you have, don't change that. Change the means, transform your strategies, or even your maybe some of your team compositions, your key players, your key partnerships, the tools that you use, the channel of delivery, but don't
Mm.
change your ego and your vision. And I believe as founders of the company, you mean, or even like those on executive levels and all of that. I think it is very important for you to always upkeep yourself with the trend, but also understand the brand promise of your company. Okay, one thing you have to be very consistent is with your brand, your personal brand, your company brand, your organizational brand. That is very important. But how you deliver your services, your products, and all of that, that is something that you have to constantly change or constantly, upkeep yourself with. And that's a
Okay.
bad. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So Christine Call has two questions, but I'm going to put it into one. So she asks,
Hi,
how
Christine.
to learn virtual technology and where to learn?
Okay, YouTube. I think YouTube is a great way for us to learn a lot of all these softwares, and they have like very detailed step one,
Mm,
A to
mm,
Z kind of guidance. And I think right now, yes, speaking of that, right now, one of the trend is also online classes. A lot of
mm,
people, including ourselves, we have been conducting a lot of online training as well, to teach about branding and
mm,
yeah, and to teach about the usage of all these new technologies and new software, graphic design. Yeah, just a lot of ways that you can learn online. Soft skills, hard skills, softwares, hardwares, just a lot of things that you can learn online as well. But I think it's really depending on what industry you're in, because the same kind of virtual tool may not be applicable or may not be practical for different types of industry, or may not be necessary as well. Don't just be like a monkey see, monkey doer. Make sense? You've got
mm,
to understand your own industry and your own brand. What is
mm,
the best tool that you can actually utilize to
mm.
make your business, even make yourself stand up, to drive profitability for your company.
Yeah.
But like
Okay.
to answer Christine's question, yes, where you can learn, I would say Google is the best place that you can search. Yeah, and as well as YouTube. Yep.
Okay. So we have one more from Jasmine Joseph. She asks,
Hi, Jasmine.
but does online event work as effectively as conventional events in the sense of concert? There's a lot of live sessions online, but it just doesn't spark the same vibe or atmosphere. And how does artists make a living from this situation?
Mm-hmm. Okay, if this is a yes or no question, again, this is based on my perspective.
Yeah, your
Other
own
people
perspective.
who are more experts and professionals, right? They may have a better view from me. So don't take my word for it completely, but take it as a reference. My
Mm,
straight up answer would be no. It would be different. Like I said, because I have been a model for 7 years, and I understand that, like right now, if you were to ask me to produce or choreograph a fashion show online and people to get to enjoy it, via Zoom and all that, I believe the experience wouldn't be the same as, going to the setting, the stage, going
mm,
to the fashion event itself to enjoy the fashion show. It will be completely different, like in terms of the music, in terms of the visual stimulation, the visual experience, all of that will be different. So
mm,
now it's a stage where people are trying to adapt to
mm,
enjoying,
mm,
viewing everything, and getting everything done online. It is such a different experience. So I believe it is a matter of getting used to. But I would say online can never replace offline when it comes to things like entertainment, concerts, all of that. It will be different. I don't know much about concert because I'm not really a concert person. But I would say in terms of how it will affect the celebrities and artists and all of that, right? At the moment, it definitely has a huge negative impact. So until they actually figure out a new, I'm not sure, like a royalty program, a royalty fee, or like maybe a subscription kind of program. Again, these are times, right? Not just creativity has to be implemented, even for business models, some business models have to be changed as well. Makes sense or not,
mm,
Gwen?
mm.
Like I said,
Right.
you can stick to your own personal brand, your company, organizational brand, how you are known, how people recognize you. It's very important. But your channel of delivery, your business model, or certain components of your business model definitely has to change. Yeah.
Understand.
So I hope
Okay.
I answer. Yeah, I answer your question when it comes to that. I would say for now, most events suffer, but slowly but steadily, you can try to explore virtual events. I think it is quite a great thing for you to explore. Like last
Mm,
weekend, our Creative Mother's Day campaign, right? In terms of scale, it wasn't a big scale, but that was pretty much our intention as well. We tried to keep it small because we want to see if we could actually leverage on online platforms, digital platforms, to build a very um, trustworthy connections and intimacy with our viewers as well as our
yeah.
customers. And We did that. So that was something that we succeeded in exploring and experimenting. So that was great. So maybe it's something that you can try as well. You know, for those of you who are viewing and who want to move your events online, yeah, you can try, but do it at a scale that you can accommodate. Do it at a scale that it does not compromise on your quality. Don't focus on the profit first. Focus on building a community, because right now it is another whole new level of way of doing events. So a lot of things I do believe that you have to restart in terms of familiarizing yourself with the platforms, familiarizing yourself in building the community. So don't be afraid to start small. You can have big dreams, but don't be afraid to start small. Okay? It's
Okay,
about building trustworthiness, because how you build trust and credibility online versus offline, it's very different. Trust me on that. Yeah.
okay. So my next question is, in your opinion, why is creative branding important, and how moving into a digital era can help business owners sustain their business?
I thought you've asked that question.
Oh, ask me, huh?
I'm not
Oh,
sure. I'm not.
okay.
Yeah. No, I don't mind
No, no,
answering.
no. I think what we want to know is how can, like, you yourself, business owner, right? And you have been leveraging on digital marketing. Then, we talk about how businesses are going to sustain themselves. Like, you mentioned, entertainment business won't be able to sustain themselves, but they need to find a new way, a new means to try to sustain themselves in this
Yeah.
industry. So what do you think is important to help these people sustain their businesses even more, but using the whole new digital era that, whatever we have?
Mm-hmm.
How did you start doing it? Maybe you can give them some tips on how did you start, actually, like you said, start small, but how do you adapt into this new digital era?
Okay. So the one keyword, the one important, or maybe two, the two important key traits and characteristics that everyone needs to have, it's adaptiveness. You have to be adaptive, because right now you can see a lot of people are using StreamYards or
Mm,
Zoom and all of that to host a lot of virtual events.
mm,
Who knows, like in months to come, we will have new platforms that we have to get used to, or like there are new, I'm not sure, like just new mediums that we have to transit ourselves to make things or to stand out from our competitors. We don't know. The second
mm,
thing is creativity, because like I said, when one of the platforms becomes so concentrated with competitors, with people, it's no longer like a scarcity. It has become a
mm,
commodity. So when
mm,
things have become a commodity, right, you really need to stand out using creativity. In fact, I believe that in leaderships, right, one of the most important traits in leaderships, and especially it has been anticipated for like 10 years to come, right? In 10 years to come, right, creativity actually scores the highest as compared to everything else. Not having the
mm,
best communication skills, not having the best fund management skills, but it's about creativity, because creativity is that one important skills that can be applied in so many different areas, in so
mm,
many industries.
mm. So do
Mm.
you think that it's gonna be hard for people to adapt to this new digital era that we're talking about? Do you think it's gonna be hard for them to adapt?
If there's a will, there's a way. Okay, to be honest, I personally, I do consider myself as not as a tech savvy person, because
Mm,
Gwen, like in personality, we have these four major personality types, right?
mm,
DISC, which is the
mm,
dominant, and then the influence, and then
mm,
steadiness as well as compliance. I'm very
mm,
high in I influence. I consider myself to be very high in I. So high in
mm,
I means someone who loves to talk, who loves to socialize. Like working in a modeling industry, I love attending events,
mm,
talking to people. That's how I build my brand, and that's how I
mm,
sustain my customers database, my clients database, and
mm,
customer
mm,
acquisitions and all of that. I'm not so good with technology, but even a person like myself who is not as tech savvy, I didn't find it as difficult to try to acquire all these new skills that is technologically or
mm,
digitally related. So I
mm,
feel if I can do it, most of you can do it as well. I mean, if there's a question that you want to know about technology, I'm not the best person to go to. But if you
mm,
want to know the basics, the 101, feel free to drop me a message. I'm more than happy to just share my experience with you. Like I
mm,
said, I'm not the most tech savvy person, but my strength is definitely researching and outsourcing, getting the right kind of people and team to work on that project. That is my strength. So
mm,
maybe that part itself, I can give you a little bit of advice. and also in personal branding, how to create the best content to make your brand stand out. So speaking of this, I would like to bring back my property client, Grace Residence again. Because the founder, Miss Annie, right, she is, how I look at her, okay, this is maybe a case study I can share with you all. Because like, you can ask yourself, why is branding important? When I ask you, okay, let's just play a very simple game.
Okay,
Okay.
game face on.
Yes, a very simple game. Like we talk about brand image, right? Brand basically is the perception that you give to other people. Understand or not? The brand perceptions, the brand impressions that you give to people around you. So, for example, Gwen, when we talk about fast food, what comes into your mind first?
Fast food, McDonald's.
Very good. Good. When it comes to touch screen or tablets and all of that, what will come to your mind first?
Smartphone, my phone.
What is the brand?
Samsung.
Okay, good. Samsung, and for me it would be iPhone. So because these are the key players in the industry, right? And we talk about, okay, when we talk about cars, vroom vroom cars, what comes?
Honda.
Okay, for me it's Ford, Ford. Like these are all branding, you know. Understand or not? You would not like, okay, when we talk about things like that, right? You would not name a brand that is, you know, that serves the minority. You would not name a brand that is at the lower list of the pack. You will always think of all these big players in the industry or even the world. I mean, these are all global brands, right? Understand or not? So one of the things that I really loved about this Grace Residence that I served is, compared to a lot of property developers, this one, it goes onto a completely different direction, because the brand reputations that they promote, it's basically love. And as per the name Grace Residence, the founder actually promote grace, because the founder herself, Miss Annie, she is full of grace. So despite this pandemic that is hitting us really, really hard, right? Grace Residence continues to serve their residents as well as the customers and the audience with a lot of grace, with a lot of love, because they believe that in hard times like this, love is most needed. So I felt that is a very great brand message. Don't we all need brand, especially in tough times like this?
Yes. I think we all do need some support from anywhere that we can see. Turn to the left, you see some support messages and you feel better. Turn to the right, you feel okay, got people support me as well. I'm not the only one going through this. So it gives us a type of comfort.
Definitely. Supporting one another, you know, on every different level is so important. And when one of the lessons that I learned during this pandemic that is so important is definitely humility. As the founder of the company, as the creative director, I realized that there are just a lot of things that I don't know. So it's so important for me to stay humble, to break my pride, and to really relearn, to unlearn a lot of things and to relearn a lot of things as well.
So do you think, as a founder and the creative director of this whole company, do you think you play a part in influencing your team, your elite team members? Like business owners actually facing a hard time right now, like have SMEs as well, and I think elite also serve as an SME. So do you think, you know, like business owners like yourself serve as a really, really critical role to, you know, comfort your staff, or, you know, the things that you do can help your company? What do you think?
Definitely. I think as the founder of the company, you are the pillar of the company. So it is very important for you to physically, emotionally, and psychologically to really steadfast and stand strong. Not only you have to be strong, but you have to think fast as well. Because like I said, things are ever changing, they're ever evolving. And if you are slower, even just by seconds, you will let a lot of people just go ahead of you. So I think it's very important. But I also think that support from the team is also very important. I think everyone plays just an equal important role. Today, if you're an employee watching this, you would know that your bosses, your managers, they would need your support as well. So I believe my strength personally, that I have used it quite well in managing my team, is communication. I think communication with my team is very important. About my expectations, I definitely have a change expectation as well, because my perspective after the pandemic has changed, and my expectations have changed as well. And it's something that my employees have to adapt. And I think
Mm.
all of us, we are all important players in the company, and all of us have different roles that we need to serve. So it is not up to just the founder himself or herself, but he himself or herself have to communicate with the team what are the expectations that he or she wants from everybody, and everyone has to just
Mm-mm.
play a significant role into making it, into forming this great team. And that is actually under company branding. It's something that we coach, it's something that we help our client to do as well. Because during this pandemic, I think it is so important for all the team to stick together, to have a greater, better team culture actually.
Okay, beautiful, beautifully said. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have attached, Elite Network Insiders Facebook page link right here. Can just key it in, give them a thumbs up, and like Dominic said, if you need any advice on a personal term, you can just DM the group, and then he will speak to you as well. So during this pandemic, guys, I want to say girls and guys, but okay, during this pandemic, everyone, please stay safe. Follow your new SOP. It's a new norm for all of us. Have to sanitize, wear your mask. Keep at least 1 meter for everyone else. Make sure to keep yourself safe and healthy. We want everyone, to be healthy so that we are able to move forward to be a better country that help everyone else, be responsible for everyone around you. So anything else you want to say, Dominic, before we say goodbye?
I wish everyone great good luck. Of course, this is a battle, and we are halfway through, right? We're
Yeah.
halfway through, and all of us survived through it. So I believe like all of us were doing quite well with the new norm. So yeah, I wish everyone great good luck. And of course, like I said, everything needs to have a balance. Understand? Don't just become a monkey see, monkey do. Like just because everyone does it, I have to follow. You've got to understand like what is your ultimate brand values that you want to convey to your clients, your customers, and turn them into your fans. Yeah.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Dominic, for spending time with Property Queen. So,
So
ladies and
much.
gentlemen, remember to tune in for tomorrow's session as well at 2 p.m. We'll be talking about critical financial planning. So, see you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thanks for having me.